Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails. Folks, today I have a couple videos I'm going to be putting out. One is going to be a 5v5 core teams for offense. That means it's going to be core teams, no galactic legends, just teams that are just kind of fundamental and, foundational for your roster. And then a few hours later, I'm going to have one for defensive teams as well. You guys can check those out. They don't have galactic legends. I do have a galactic legend video on its way as well that won't come out today, but I also will be putting out another video for my alt account and Prevail Man. Both, it might be a little bit longer of a video, but it'll show all the different teams that I'm considering using for both of those accounts. So you guys will have some resources for this coming GAC madness that's going to be happening this free-for-all, where we're all struggling to stay in Kyber or Rhodium or wherever we're at, we're trying to advance, etc. We're going to need to be working on this stuff, and it's really important to be able to see the teams and just have a very basic idea of how they work. Now, I do want to make a couple videos on just really basic counters and how that stuff works. There's going to be a lot of pretty, I don't know if you would call it like basic GAC stuff, but that'll be coming out. There's also just a ton of things if you look at my playlist, so check out the Faction Essentials videos. Check out, if you want to see my past GACs, you can see all of them for both my main account and my alt, a bunch of them for Prevail Man for 5v5 and 3v3. Lots of different things, guys. If you check that stuff out. There's also more specialized help if you want to join the Patreon. I'm going to be restructuring some of the Patreon levels here pretty soon, but one way or another, there's also slots available for some of the top tier stuff if you want to do in-person Zoom meetings. Should be lots of stuff to offer in my Patreon. Feel free to check that out. The Discord server is a great resource as well. We have over 3,300, 3,400 members on our Discord server, all of them who like to talk about GAC. Lots and lots and lots of cool opportunities and resources out there. There's even a counter sheet. All of this stuff is linked in the video description, so go check that stuff out. And that's basically it, guys. Go. I want everyone here, everyone who watches me, to succeed in GAC, and I'm the guy who does GAC. Honestly, I'm not saying that I'm the very best out there, but I do have quite a good record in GAC. My alt account especially is going to be taking a beating, but I only lost 8 matches with that account after 329 matches, something like that. Sounds like I miscounted by one, but one way or another, guys. It's my main account, I have about a 90% win rate. This is the channel to come to, guys, for GAC, and we're gonna start with the very baseline teams. So without further ado, let's jump into the game. We're going to talk about these baseline offense teams and what to expect with them, how to build them, what kind of things we're going to be doing with them, and we'll move forward. Whoa, madness. We're in the game. Cool. All right, let's start talking, guys. It's hard to get more base than this Commander Luke team. One of my very favorite teams here. Let's go to the top here. Madness, what was that? Okay. We've got Commander Luke and the basic Rebels team. I mean, you can add other things. This is the best version, though, the 5v5 version. I don't think that there's not much wiggle room as far as what the best Rebel team is. I know that some people like to do things like add Fulcrum to it or R2-D2, and I know that there's a comp out there with Padme and Cat and 3PO that currently beats all of the Jedi Master Kenobi teams, and so I don't know, there's other things you can do, but this is the baseline team. This is the team that wants a lot of offense and a lot of tenacity on Commander Luke, because Chupio is going to take that stuff, all those stats, and he's going to redistribute it, but it only goes on to Luke. So if you want to put more relics on Luke, I want to put another relic level on him, just because everyone on the team is going to be getting those stats. And so this is the team, guys. Tons of turn meter. You want Luke to be fast, you want Han to be fast. All of them want some kind of tenacity, except for maybe Han doesn't really care, and I get lazy and don't put any on 3PO. He probably benefits from it too, but it's the team that can nuke. I mean, it has a swingers, it has a puncher puncher's chance against a few different Galactic Legends teams, like a Supreme Leader Kylo team with Zombie and Daka on it. On defense, this team can run the tables on it if you have enough tenacity to resist some of the stuns from Daka and stuff, and you can do that with Chupio. You just want Commander Luke to be fast and tenacious. You can see my Commander Luke has 106 tenacity. Everyone is going to be gaining, what, 20% from Chupio redistributing it. So Commander Luke is going to be getting that. Someone was telling me, actually, that if you have the, which one is it? It's the Learn Control thing. He starts with 100% tenacity. I don't think that stat counts to redistribute from Chupio, but I could be wrong. Anyways, this team is great on offense. It's actually a great team on defense as well. Now, the Troopers team, I do have like a how to build troopers, Imperial Troopers team. You need to know a little bit of math to make sure that you have them structured correctly. You want Piet to be the fastest so that he gains plus 20 speed from Veers. When he gains that plus 20 speed from Veers, he is plus 20 speed. Surprise. Yeah. Math, it does a body good. But here's the thing about it, guys. So Piet can be super fast. Mine is actually pretty quick. And keep in mind, guys, I'm showing you guys you all mods after 5 years of farming mods and being a competitive player. My mods are not the very best out there by a long stretch. But please don't get depressed when you see my modding and think like, man, I have so much to go. Like, everyone has at some point. So start working on mods. We'll be putting out more modding videos as we go along. Anyways, so Piet, as we said before, he gets plus 20 speed from where he was at before. So he'll be at 359. And then he's going to give the rest of the team turn meter. He's going to give them all 20% turn meter. It's not 10% because remember, if he has both of his Zetas, which you need to be putting his Zeta on, one of the very best Zetas in the game is the Emperor's Trap, which gives everyone an undispellable debuff, and so he gives everyone a buff by putting Imperial Ambition onto Dark Trooper, and the whole team gains 20%, but you need another character that gets plus 20 speed from Veers, and also gets and then also plus 20% of whatever their speed is going to bridge the gap so that Piet's going to go, and then that other trooper's going to go immediately, hand the rest of the turn 20% or 10% turn meter, whatever they do, and eventually you can cause kind of like an endless loop almost with the troopers, and a lot of times you're going to be able to clear a team without losing anything. Now remember, one of the things we're going to be looking for in GAC is extreme efficiency with squads on offense, which means you don't want to drop banners if you can help it. Imperial troopers can not only just run the table and not actually get hit, but even if they do get hit a little bit, if they get hit a lot, they're probably just going to lose. But if they only get hit a little bit, then they can actually regenerate their health and protection, which is something that we're looking for on offensive teams for GAC. Now, the next one is a little bit more specialized. In fact, I have two different options. So if you have Aura Singh lead, then she's pretty great. You want to put her Zeta on. Mandalorian, everything but his leadership is great. Bosk, both of his Zetas are great. Grief, both of his Zetas are actually pretty wonderful, and Boba, I just have his on because it's pretty silly that I have so many Zetas at this point. I don't know what to do with them. It's never come in handy, and it probably never will. But one way or another, guys, the Aura team is going to be the one that you can nuke other teams with really well. You guys should watch a video of mine, like go to the counter sheet in the video description, find a team. Like I can take out, I actually have a video out on how Aura Singh lead can take out General Skywalker teams. That's actually going to be much easier now that we have Zam available to take them out. It's going to be quite interesting, in fact. But the way Aura works, it's pretty consistently different than the way Bosk works. Now you'll note that Jango isn't here. Jango's going to be with a Mando team, or he's going to be with Separatists. But I mean, he works well with all of the bounty hunters. He's just he's a popular guy and he wants to be with everyone else. But Aura Singh lead basically happens the way it works. Everyone starts in stealth. Everyone's going to like you have Bosk 1 speed faster than Grief, and Bosk is going to taunt. Grief is going to then call a mass assist because of the taunt from Bosk. He also has Frenzy. He takes another turn. He calls a mass assist, and eventually Mandalorian gets his contract because everyone under Aura Singh lead, all they have to do is do a couple actions, or like an action while they have a buff, which she gives them stealth, and you immediately get your contract. And Mando, for his first move, a lot of times just disintegrates someone. So really strong squad if you don't want to use Aura and you want to use the traditional ground pounder team with Bosk. One really cool wrinkle to that, you can add almost any other bounty hunter, but one really cool wrinkle is Fennec, because on her basic, if you call her to assist, as long as you're targeting the right person, she does damage to the enemy 5 times. I will do it 5 times, is what she said. She is crazy, and the way it works for his leadership, it doesn't work with Aura, because Aura is all about actions for the contract, but to get your contract with Bosk, you just deal damage to the weakest enemy 10 times. So Fennec will literally get everyone their contract almost immediately, as long as you can target them under Bosk lead. So it's a very strong character to go with Fennec. Fennec can do that. I mean, Dengar's really nice because he acts like the team's healer or whatever. So anyways, you've got the Bosk team. The Bando team is also really good. You need to have a fast Kuil. Mine isn't super fast, but I mean, I think it's 324. You need him to be the fastest on the team. The next fastest, and this is important, guys, you need to have a fast Beskar, and you want to have him have a ton of offense. The only way it works is if he's loaded with full offense. You don't want any crit damage on him whatsoever, because he's doing true damage. True damage means there's never any crits. It ignores armor, but it also has no crits. So you want a lot of offense, including your arrow, and after you're done, I know this is a probably unreal amount of speed for a character with only offense set and health set plus an offense arrow, and I know people have been trying to show me up lately, and they can do that if they want. They also have lifted trucks, just saying, and you just want a ton of offense, so that what happens is he'll go next on the team. Kuil will give everyone 25% turn meter on the team, as long as they're all scoundrels. Bando is going to go. He's going to go into poop stance and get ready to shoot his whistling birds. And then you're going to have IG-11 go. He's going to do his AoE. Dengar's going to go. He'll do his AoE. Nest will go. She'll do his AoE. It doesn't matter what turn order they're in, as long as they go after Bando. And then Bando, having accumulated all the whistling birds he needs, will proceed to punch the crap out of almost anyone he's facing. You can target someone out of stealth, or you can target anyone behind a taunt. It doesn't matter. He just destroys someone, and it's really cool. Now, one thing that you could potentially do if you want to use Nest elsewhere, which, I mean, a lot of people are going to want to put Nest on defense, honestly, just to cause problems with like trooper counters and stuff. You can actually use Fennec Shand here, because all that Bando wants is to have a bunch of debuffs caused, and so if Fennec is here and she's in the right speed range, which is, slower than Bando and otherwise good, you just don't want her to be super slow, you can also have her, so she deals damage to all but the weakest enemy, then you deal special damage to the enemy that was weakest, blah 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 blah. If the ability deals damage, the selected target has armor shred and all dark side scoundrels. Oh, so they gain overconfident. Let's see, which is the one? Maybe this isn't the ability. Is it? I thought that this was it. Let's see. Yeah, so it does damage to all but the weakest enemy. I was reading it the other day. It made sense. I think she does just cause Bando to get max whistling birds, but don't take my word for it, guys. Read the damn kit, like I didn't apparently. I think she slots in well with Bando, but I don't know. Let's just move along, shall we? Next we have Mon Mothma, and She has a couple different configurations now. Kyle Katarn, exciting character. I don't think he's going to be good at 4 stars or 3 stars, whatever, even at gear 11. Maybe he'll be fine. He's going to gain a ton of turn meter, 30% turn meter, remember, because Mon Mothma is not a rebel trooper or rebel fighter, and Kyle Katarn, his ability only gives him he gains 10% turn meter for each other rebel fighter ally. So the fact that he doesn't have the fact that it's 10% turn meter for other fighter allies, that means he's gaining 30% at the start of the round, which is fine. I mean, my Kyle is not super fast, just plus 100 speed, but at 241 he's getting 30% turn meter. He's going to be well over 300 speed after that, and once you get him relicked and you put speed mods on him, he's going to be really, really quick. The idea is to just get an unstoppable and unbreakable turn meter loop, and this team just destroys so many teams. Like it can take down a lot. I'm really interested to see, like, with Kyle, I think they're gonna start being able to take down like the Sith Empire team and stuff, like with Darth Revan and everything. I think they're gonna be able to do that. They also take down a lot of Grievous teams, except if they have BB-8 on their team, they're gonna be able to take down a ton of things. They also are great at cleaning up lone galactic legends. All of them. I think they take down all of them except for maybe like Lord Vader. I'm guessing Lord Vader is going to struggle. They're going to struggle against Lord Vader, but otherwise, yeah, they clean up things well. They just destroy teams. They also have a really cool healing mechanic with Mon Mothma, and so she's just going to heal them all and get you another 60, which is what we want, right? Now, this Maul team is interesting. You need to have a team so a lot of people are going to want to run Maul with Watt, and Watt is actually great. The way it works is, as long as Maul starts the fight with Frenzy, and Frenzy gives him a bonus turn, or it gives him 100% turn meter every time someone on his team does a special. And so what happens is, if you take Watt with this team, then Watt takes his bonus turn at the start. He applies some kind of tech to someone, and that therefore gives Maul his turn, and he can immediately just start out the match with a bunch of hits. And Canderous is going to be assisting because it's Maul lead. Canderous is going to, I forget which one. Is it his unique or is his basic? So doing his basic, he does up to 3 hits every time, and then one of his uniques, he gains turn meter. He gains 8% turn meter every time. Well, let's see. Whenever an enemy with damage over time effect is damaged by an attack, then Canderous gains 8% turn meter. So what happens is the whole team, Canderous gains a ton of turn meter here, because the whole team he's going to inflict damage over time on his first attack. Then the rest of the Mandos are going to be assisting as well. Every time you do damage, he's gaining 8%. He'll get another turn pretty soon, and you can start getting a turn meter train kind of going with this team. The idea, though, is if you don't have Watt on the team, what Watt can you actually do? The answer is you have Armorer here, and you have to make her really fast. 338 here. I know I could boost her up by another 4 speed at least if I wanted to, so she could be 342. And as long as she is faster than the other team, then Maul's going to go next, and the whole rest of the team is going to start going, and it's going to be a bloodbath because Maul likes to do things like that. It's pretty gross, but what can you do if you're a robot-legged man? I don't know. I don't know, guys. What does a robot leg man drive? Like, does he drive lifted trucks? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he cares. He might. He might care more than most. Now, Jedi Revan here, a lot of different configurations with him. And honestly, if once you start getting Galactic Legends, you're going to be splitting this team up a little bit. This version, though, is the one version that does take down Supreme Leader Kylo. It also takes down basically all the different versions of General Grievous. It does a lot of really cool stuff. You got the stun from Luke, you've got the mark from Revan, Basti. If you're facing a General Grievous team with BB-8, then you can put Basti as the lead so that you're not losing any banners from protection or anything from all the AoEs and stuff, and you eventually get a turn, and once you get a turn, then it's game on, you can take them out. So this team is really good. It punches way up. It's also really cool because you can kind of fragment it to the various other Jedi teams that you want, but this is kind of like just I think eventually I'm gonna have to do a video on all the different ways you can kind of partition all your Jedi. Like, I really like them all on offense just because it makes a much more flexible offensive roster for you so that you can kind of tackle whatever teams you're going to find. Now, next up is Bad Batch, and honestly guys, a lot of people ask me, is Omega really necessary? And the answer is, for almost all counters out there, Bad Batch have been kind of misrepresented by a lot of different streamers as like they're a lock to kill General Grievous teams. Like, so first off, Grievous teams with BB-8 are not good for Bad Batch because General Grievous teams are going to take a lot of turns, and if they get the wrong stuns or they get some kills early on, it's a huge fiasco, and they can start getting a lot of turn meter. Really not wise to take this team against a Grievous, excuse me, a Grievous team with BB-8. And but the other thing is, even if you take it against a Grievous team with like Droideka or something, this team is still vulnerable unless you add Omega. If you add Omega, she doesn't have to be fast. You just put a lot of offense on her and you just plunk away. I do have a Faction Essentials video on how to use this team and how to mod them, especially is important. But if you don't want to check that out, just remember she can be slow, and all she does is she's just an assist machine. She just sits there in stealth. As long as she's stealth, she just assists. You need to make sure that you're getting your defense up buff so that you cause true damage from everyone. Hunter just starts destroying people if you have Echo calling him to assist. It's really a cool thing, but this team does take a little bit of time and nuance to beat or to use on offense. If you do use them on offense, you're going to get a lot of banners usually. And remember that Omega takes this team from like a I think I was reading it was like a 74% against most Grievous teams to against those same Grievous teams. If you take Omega, it turns it into a 95% win rate, or even more than that. She is the key to making this squad more consistent. So you can risk it and just take 4, and you'll think that Zareth is kind of a dummy, and maybe he is, but in general, this team is going to be better with Omega in it than out. And if you're facing a really weak team that you don't need Omega in, then you should just be good to go to just, you can take her out and just get your 61, I suppose. Make sure that Echo is super fast. He's one of the fastest base speeds in the game. You can see minus 349. I could actually get him significantly faster, another 4 speed at least, so 353, and as long as he's the fastest, he dazes everyone, you can stun everyone with tech, and you're off to the races. Now, this is a team that I did actually apply the Omicron for Dash. Now, I think I regret that because I think that there are other better options out there for Dash, but I do think that, or then Dash, because he's good anyways, but I do love it because I don't need to have him at high stars to be able to use him with this comp, because as long as they just keep killing Dash, then Vander's just going to continuously revive him over and over and over again. This team is going to be pretty good on offense, I think. On defense, it's also going to work because if there's a perpetual taunt on L3, Young Han is going to be ramping up damage every single time he takes a turn-ish. I think I did put a Zeta on him, so he's constantly assisting. And this whole team, like Kira can call a ton of assists, Dash Rendar, then if he's assisting, he's going to be shooting 3 times and with his basic, and each of those times that hit, he's going to be calling someone else to assist. L3, every time she does a basic, is going to have 10% boosted health, and she turns into a monster. This team is just very cool. She's going to be dispelling all the debuffs on everyone. Vander's going to be reviving everyone, so he's going to be the target, but they have to get past L3, and her undispellable debuff, or undispellable taunt, it's going to be a very interesting team. I need to put more relics on Young Han. That'll happen before GAC, but Really excited to use this team on offense. On defense, I think it'll do okay, but you're going to fall prone to other teams that can go like faster than it, and if they can assassinate Vendor and kind of control the situation, they're going to get good banners against it. So I kind of think it's an offensive team. You just get a 60 and call it a day. Now Grievous is kind of a contentious team in terms of like I think he's more offense now these days. There's just too many teams. Like Bad Batch just delete this team regardless of the composition. Now there is actually a Grievous comp on defense that I really like that I'm going to be trying out. I'll show you guys what that comp is in the next video, but this is the offensive comp. This takes out Commander Luke. You want a lot of potency on them if you can. General Grievous really loves having an extra relic level if you can, from 8 all the way up to 8. Then stop. Don't put 9 on him unless you're stupid, or if you really love General Grievous. You don't have to be stupid to put it on there. Love covers a multitude of sins, or something like that. But you want to, this team is really great in terms of it also beats not only Commander Luke teams, which is kind of a punching upward for them. Like they'll beat a lot of teams below that as well. But the other thing about them, and I just did a faction essentials for them, you guys can check it out. They also beat Galactic Legends sometimes, like Jedi Master Luke specifically, sometimes Sith Eternal if they're pretty bad. Not that you're going to see Sith Eternal on defense too often, but Jedi Master Luke, especially if they put some garbage Jedi on, because garbage Jedi are great with Jedi Master Luke because they just use his protection stat as offense. So you can put a bunch of bad Jedi and they're okay on defense. But with Grievous, if they don't have like Jolee or Luke to disrupt them, like Jedi Knight Luke, then gosh, there's a lot of Jedi Lukes out there. There's a lot of Lukes. We should take a Luke and see what the next version of him is going to be. But that being said, this team does punch up quite a bit, and it's way more efficient than you might think, because B1, so if they kill Newt, he comes back alive. If they hit B1, no matter what, as long as B1 is still alive, he still gets you your full 3 banners on offense. You're not going to get a lot of 60s for this team because Grievous does hurt his own team, but B1 is constantly healing them as well. It's not that uncommon to get like a 57, 58 with this team on offense. So really think it's more of an offensive team now because there's so many counters to it, because frankly, if you put Newt on this team on defense with Newt, then Night Sisters can't beat it that well. But if you put BB-8 on it instead of Newt, then Night Sisters beat it. So it's either Bad Batch or Bad Batch or Night Sisters destroy this team one way or another. So yeah, offensive team. Now this Thrawn team, this is just kind of a speculation one. You guys have seen, I mean, I made a video about it recently. It's actually been released, in fact, but I did tweak the team a little bit. So we did Thridian in 3v3, and that was really effective. That just destroyed teams. We didn't even need offense, but I think that this team is really interesting to me. We could put Emperor in here or whatever. I'm guessing that Mara Jade's going to come out and make this team even stronger, but the idea is, especially because I just randomly have the Zeta on Death Trooper, I don't really recommend it to anyone, but if you do happen to have it, it's pretty nice because it makes it so that Krennic can't be crit. But what happens is you have a ton of control on this team. It doesn't look like you have a lot of offense, but you have days from Death Trooper, you have days from Moff Gideon, you have Stagger with an AoE from Krennic, you have the Fracture from Thrawn, and then Stormtrooper is constantly interacting with Moff Gideon and Death Trooper because they're all Imperial remnants and they all have different buffs for each other. And so it's a really cool team that can kind of just interact and do stuff. I mean, I know that Stormtrooper might end up on a team with like Lord Vader or something, but Krennic can do a lot more than you might think. If they kill Death Trooper, then he can bring him back actually, and Death Trooper also provides, once you get your first kill, he also starts giving you Death Mark, and then you can start deleting teams. I'm really looking forward to trying this team out. If you make a really fast Moff Gideon, then it works even better. I think I actually swapped, I think I can get his square a little faster. Let's see, 377 from this square. And I know that that's an obnoxious amount of speed, but I feel like there was one mod that I could actually make faster. Let's just see real quick. I think the one with Thrawn, I think Thrawn might have one faster. Let's see this, because this is a 25 on Thrawn. Oh, it's a 25 as well. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter, guys, now that I've been defeated. But, you want him to be fast. That's all. Because he's going to go first and reduce everyone's turn meter. Everyone's going to go. Keep in mind that Moff Gideon is great on a bounty hunter's team. If you don't have Zam and her Omicron, which is going to be really cool, then Moff Gideon is a great second for a bounty hunter's team. But without Moff Gideon, I think this team kind of falls apart. The Thrawn lead is actually much better than you might think. Now, finally, this team with Stormtrooper Han, you need a Zeta, you need him high relics because he's kind of flimsy otherwise. As long as Watt gives him the buff to taunt or whatever it is, that's great. And then Wampa, you want to give him the turn meter and weapons tech thing. He doesn't ignore defense anymore, but he still does a lot of damage because he ramps his damage up. You want to, give him a couple relic levels now that we don't care about it. Like, give him up to relic 5. I think that's what I'm going to end up doing with Wampa. And then Droideca's there is just backup because he can heal his health and protection and do extra damage. And I'm trying to remember, I think he still assists Watt when he goes. So, and when Stormtrooper Han is taunting himself, when he uses his taunt, not the taunt that's assigned from Watt, but when he uses his special, as long as it's not dispelled, then your whole team is going to gain a ton of turn meter and you can delete people. So, that being said, folks, I think that's it for offensive teams. Stay tuned. In a couple hours, I will have released the defensive teams, or you're probably, the majority of you watching this, it's probably already been released. There's going to be a link for that defensive teams in the video description if that's something you're interested in. Defensive teams are probably more important, but they're also, a lot of those teams are going to be on offense as well. I just wanted to have a more even distribution. So that being said, folks, let me know what I missed. What's your favorite thing about offense and defense? What are your teams that you want to use that I'm too dumb to remember to use? Remember, we're going to have a Galactic Legends video out pretty soon. It'll be this week at some point as well. So remember to hit that thumbs up button, please, guys. Try to mount the algorithm or make a comment for the algorithm. Do something nice for the algorithm. What have you done for the algorithm today, folks? Thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Zereth prevails.